What's up, everybody? Welcome to HipHop Biographies, and on this channel we cover hip-hop legends, figures, and forgotten moments in hip-hop. Today we'll be discussing who set Tupac up. November 30th, 1994, Tupac Shakur was robbed and shot in Manhattan, New York. But why? Let's rewind to almost an exact year prior. On November 30th, 1993, Tupac Shakur, James Fuller, and Haitian Jack were all arrested for assault against a teenage fan named Ayanna Jackson, who was 19 years old. A year later, the 30th of November 1994, Tupac was leaving the courtroom from deliberations against him and his only co-defendant, James Fuller. After court, Tupac would receive an invite that day to go and record with a DJ by the name of Ron G for free, as a favor for the young and up-and-coming artist. After the recording session with Ron G, Tupac will receive a page from another rapper by the name of Booker. Booker was requesting Tupac to do a song with East Coast rapper by the name of Lil Sean, who was managed by Jimmy Henchman. But Tupac felt like they were trying to take advantage of him, so he asked for a fee of $7,000, in which Booker agreed to the price and told Tupac to meet him and Lil Sean at the Quad Studios in Times Square. While on his way to the studio, Tupac would receive a phone call from Booker asking what was taking so long. After the first phone call he received, another phone call would follow from Booker saying he doesn't have the money to pay Tupac, in which Tupac said he's not going to be working for free, in which he promptly hung up. But Booker wouldn't be taking no as an answer. He called Tupac back and told him that Uptown Records will pay him for doing the feature, and the money will be waiting for him after he's done doing the recording. Uptown Records is a famous record company that has signed artists such as Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, and Heavy D, so they seem to be very reputable. Tupac will be on his way to Quad Studios for the second time that night, and at this time it's now past midnight. At about 12:25, Tupac and his entourage, consisting of Tupac's manager, his brother-in-law, his sister, and a rapper by the name of Stretch, would all arrive at Quad Studios, parking their cars, and walking the short distance to the studio. While arriving on foot at the studio, there was a few members of Junior Mafia standing on the balcony, smoking, looking down at the street when they spotted Tupac. Being a rap group that's associated with Biggie and Puffy, they were all mutual friends that was associated with Tupac. They spotted Tupac and began greeting him from the balcony, while also telling everyone in the studio that Tupac has arrived. Biggie and Puffy both were also there, but for completely separate reasons for why Tupac was there. Biggie and Puffy, they were recording a video for Biggie's small song, The Warning. Back to the street. Tupac will be approaching the entrance to the studio. While standing outside, Tupac and his entourage were standing at the entrance to Quad Studios. While standing there waiting to be buzzed in, Tupac noticed two men standing by the elevator wearing camo apparel that Tupac recognized as gang attire. One man was sitting down and had a newspaper that was covering his face and didn't acknowledge anybody within Tupac posse, which made members of the group to become weary of the situation since Tupac was one of the biggest artists at the time and nobody acknowledged him. As Tupac was being buzzed into the building, him and the four other people he was with walked toward the elevator. As Tupac and his posse approached the elevator, they were ambushed by the three men in the lobby, having guns pulled on all of them. The men immediately focused their attention onto Tupac and not his brother, the manager, or Stretch, who was the tallest in the group, hence the name. Two of the men within the group made everyone that Tupac was with to get on the ground, while the other gentleman pointed a gun at Tupac and demanded his jewelry and money. Tupac, who was carrying a gun during the incident, would not be going for anything, so he pulled his gun on the robber, which resulted in the robber beginning to shoot Tupac. The first bullet hit him in the groin, causing him to lose one of his testicles. They began beating Tupac with the pistols while snatching his jewelry off. Tupac will reveal later on that night he had over $35,000 in jewelry, which doubles itself in value today. Freddie Moore, Tupac's manager, who was with them, was also shot during the incident and robbed of his jewelry. After taking Tupac's jewelry, they began to fire another 3 to 4 more times into Tupac while he laid on the ground bleeding out. In total, Tupac was shot 5 times, twice in the groin, twice in the head, and once in the hand. The robbers would make off with all of Tupac's jewelry except for a Rolex he was wearing. Tupac's manager gave chase after getting shot for a few blocks until he collapsed on the ground. Tupac will be dragged into the elevator and he will head up to the 8th floor where Biggie and the Junior Mafia crew were all on. While in the elevator, Tupac began to roll a blunt while bleeding and slowly dying. His reasoning, if he was going to die, he at least wanted to die high. But why was Tupac put into this position? If we was to go back a year prior when Tupac was arrested for sexual assault, one of the people Tupac was arrested with, Haitian Jack, mysteriously ended up dropped from Tupac's case and having its own case. This new revelation made Tupac think that Haitian Jack was snitching on him or working with the police in some way. This prompted Tupac to start doing interviews about Haitian Jack, hinting that he was a snitch and a hanger-on. Haitian Jack obviously wouldn't agree with these comments, and that's when he began to plot his revenge on Tupac. Haitian Jack wasn't the only person that Tupac had problems with during this time. James Roseman, better known as Jimmy Henchman, was also quote-unquote another op of Tupac. Before the Quad Studio incident, it was reported that Tupac and Jimmy Henchman were both on the phone having a very heated discussion between one another. People that was around Tupac at the time warned him about how dangerous Jimmy Henchman was and Haitian Jack, such as Biggie and Mike Tyson. But who was Jimmy Henchman? Jimmy Henchman is a music executive and convicted drug smuggler. Mr. Henchman was the manager for many major artists within the music and sports world. He helped negotiate fights for Mike Tyson. He was the manager for Sean Kingston, The Game, Gucci Mane, and Brandy. During the beef between The Game and 50 Cent, he was The Game's manager. He's currently locked up serving double life for the murder for hire of a G Unit member for revenge for Tony Yayo slapping his son. While going through trial, Jimmy Henchman took place in a court interview called A Queen for a Day, better known as a proffer agreement. The same thing Gunna took in a YSL trial. With this agreement, the defendant can offer information on new crimes in exchange for the prosecutor to not prosecute them for any information they are given.
I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens. I don't like Supreme. I don't like Premium. But he lived the way he actually projected himself. His lifestyle is consistent.
He was true to it.
He never ratted on nobody. Just like that. You see what I'm saying? And Jimmy's a different kind of guy. He told everybody. He solved the last 10 years of criminal activity in New York City in 10 minutes. The DA said, hold on, chill out, stop, boy, you're gonna make it like that I don't even work. The DA asked him to stop. Stop, man. You're gonna make like we're not even working here.
During this interview, Jimmy Henchman confessed to being the brains behind the robbery of Tupac that left Tupac with 5 bullet holes in him. One of Jimmy Henchman's soldiers, Dexter Isaac, recently confessed to his involvement in the robbery in prison. He said that Jimmy Henchman had paid him $2,500 to rob Tupac, and anything he took from Tupac he could keep. Afterwards though, Jimmy Henchman would take one of the biggest rings that they took off of Tupac. Tupac, being Tupac, wouldn't be quiet on the situation. He would do interviews after the shooting, speaking on what happened and what he thinks happened and who he thought was involved. Tupac will also release a song on his album Machiavelli The 7th Day Theory called Against All Odds, where he implicates Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman by name for their part in the Quad Studio shooting. Tupac will go on to rap lyrics like a snitch named Haitian Jack and how he will begin his payback on Jimmy Henchman. He also speaks about how Haitian Jack was arrested with him for sexual assault and how he was dropped from Tupac's trial and had his own trial. Tupac will end the song with a statement that Jimmy Henchman told him, "Don't go to war unless my money is right. I got my money right now, and I want war." This quote wasn't directly told to Tupac. Stretch was one of the people that was with Tupac the night he was robbed, relayed the message to Tupac after the shooting while Tupac was hiding out at the famous actress house, Jasmine Guy, after checking himself out of the hospital. Why would someone's enemy be okay with talking to his enemy's best friend? Stretch will be murdered exactly a year to the day after the Quad Studio shooting. There isn't any connection to the murder being because of the hit at Quad Studios, so was this a coincidence? I'll let you all decide. Was the person that set Tupac up also with him while he was being robbed that night? That's up to you all to decide. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.